Welcome back to Ancestral Recall. This is your host, Eli Kaplan. This is part 2 of my report on Grand Prix Philadelphia 2014. So, when we had last left you, the viewer, I was at 7-2 with 0 buys at the end of day 1. This put me in the middle of the pack, around 140 place out of 200 players who made it to day 2. So I had an uphill battle. I could still make top 8 if I went 6-0. I didn't feel that confident about it, but I told myself, yeah, I want to see if I can put together a 4-2 performance. 4-2 will finish in the money. I feel like 5-1 is out of the question. So draft 1 went horribly. I took a first pack, Fellhide Spirit Crafter. Kiki Jiki, I mean, yeah, you have to pay 2 mana to get him to work, but still, he's pretty darned awesome, and I think he's splashable in almost any deck as long as you have some kind of fixing. So this is the first draft deck that I did. So the first pick I had with War of the Gods was Fellhide Spirit Binder. The Kiki Jiki-like effect is so brutal. Now, you're not going to be able to abuse it a ton of times, but good lord, this is pretty awesome. Second pick was Loyal Pegasus. I happen to really like this card. If I can get 3 or 4 of them in the draft, I'm super happy, and I can get away with that occasionally on Moto in the Swiss room, but at a GP day 2, not too likely. So third pick, I'm thinking the third pick was oh my goodness. Third pick was one of these Ferris Band Trompers, which is a solid green common. I felt like green would be going around, and I was right, it was. Second pack, first pick, Thassa. Yeah, so I had taken only a few cards in blue. I was kind of keeping my options open. A late card in blue, it was like 5th pick. Course of the Tides told me that blue was open, although that's what I thought, but I didn't feel like that was so much the case. It turned out in pack 2, the blue kind of got hoovered up by around pick 5, pick 6, pick 7, pick 8. Yeah, so anyway, pack 2, pick 1, I got Thassa. Now, Thassa I took here because I felt like, the ability to give other guys unblockable was fantastic, and I was hoping to draft lots of blue creatures. Second pick, Griptide. I really love this spell. It is an amazing tempo blowout. Third pick, Sea God's Revenge. Really fine card. But I hadn't done a lot of Theros drafting, so I thought, I can probably play this. When I lost, pretty much I was getting blown out. It was hard for me to get to 6 mana with this deck, which was sad, despite the fact that I had things like Voyaging Sather and Opaline Unicorn and Traveler's Amulets. Pack 3, pick 1. Goodness. This was a Curse of the Swine. By the way, I have a lot of foils in my Moto account from drafting. I usually don't sell my stuff very often, so while I'm showing off these sealed pools and draft pools, I mean, obviously I use physical cards, not Moto cards, but when I put them in, Moto always wants to show the foil first. So this curve, if we look at it from curve, we've got 5 2-drops, seemed pretty reasonable, and in the game I won, they came to play, but in my second and third games with this, second and third rounds with this deck, it kind of was lousy. Not a lot of the 3s, Opaline Unicorn and Crackling Trident. That was a mistake. I need more 3s. At 4, the Trompers are pretty awesome. Spirit Binder, I'm splashing off a mountain and the Amulet. Really solid card. Course Tide, perfectly reasonable. Mnemonic Wall, yeah, this was a mistake. I should have put this in the board, and I should have ran another Sather to help me ramp up. That was a mistake. Yeah, at 5 is Nemesis of Mortals. This is really what it costs, because usually there's a guy in the yard. And Curse of the Swine, generally speaking, I find that playing this card, it usually hits 3 guys. So yeah, casting costs 5. That gives opponents enough turns to start enchanting them and building up counters so that you can ruin it. At 6, we've got Vulpine Goliath. Wasn't particularly thrilled with this as a 6-drop. And Sea God's Revenge. And, you know, just, I hated a bunch of late black cards. Black was open. In red, I had a couple thoughts. I think I took an Archetype of Aggression, 4th pick. No, that was my 3rd pick. I don't know why. It was a bad call. Yeah, so anyway, I went 1 and 2 with this deck. With this deck, I won the first round on the back of nerfing his Ordealed guys with Curse of the Swine, then clearing away 3 Swine tokens next turn with Sea God's Revenge. That put me over the top in the game. And it was actually quite a blowout. He was playing green red, and his deck had a lot of big fat dudes, and my deck excelled at taking care of big fat dudes. Round 2, I get killed by Danny Goldstein, who eventually finished in the top 8s. He ran over me 2-1 with a mono red deck. And he gave me some good words of support because I was kind of glum after that. He had Akron Crusaders and Kragma Butchers, and they just punished the living crap out of me. I shot him for the interviews, part of my show, but the audio was particularly lousy. Round 12, this was another loss to Philippe Guerreau. I don't recall his deck, but afterwards I was like, okay, I'm at X4. The only way I'm going to be able to finish in the money is to 3-0. I shrugged it off saying, whatever, this is unlikely. Historically, I have been a good drafter. For about 2 years, I was one of Japan's top 100 limited players around 2004 to 2006, or was it 2005 to 2007? But yeah, for a while, I was actually quite solid in limited. But this is before the implementation of the Planeswalker point system, where different formats gave you different ratings. And when the Planeswalker point system came in, I stopped focusing so much on mastering one format and said, you know what, I'm just going to play what I like. And so, for a while, I switched over to Standard. Since I came back to the US, the biggest problem for me was I didn't have the luxury of drafting at a table with 3 Pro Tour top 8s and 20 GP top 8s in Nagoya. I used to play at Big Magic. And for the record, any table you're drafting with me, I have a Grand Prix top 8. Osaka 2005. Go look it up. And here is my second draft deck. So I'm going to start off telling you guys my first 3 picks. From pack 1, Kiora the Crashing Wave. I was kind of in low spirits when I opened this pack, and I said, oh, Kiora, I need one of these for Standard, so, maybe I'll play it. And then I saw a good bunch of white cards, so I was able to get the read that whites seemed to be coming through. Yeah, some white cards that I got. Yeah, second pick, pack 1, Akron Skyguard. Love this card. Third pick, Retraction Helix. Really, really solid. Fourth pick, Afara's Enlightenment. Yeah, I was like, okay, blue-white's open. So I was very excited about that. Pack 2, pick 1, I take Balwise Hoplites. It's just an amazingly solid 2-drop. I won more heroic, and yeah, this was there. Now, pack 3, pick 1, I open another Battlewise Hoplites. Somewhere, a couple notes. So somewhere, I think was pick 8, pack 2, Traveler's Amulet. I open this and say, oh, now that I have this, I can splash Kiora. I get some late pick Voyage's Ends. I get one pack 3, pick 5, and pack 3, pick 8. That was pretty awesome. So yeah, this deck came together much better. So we have 3 2-drops, not as many as the previous deck, but we have 3 3-drops, which makes me happy. And some more expensive stuff. A Crone Horse, solid card. I love playing this card, especially with decks with flyers. It gums up things good. Celestial Archon. I got this pack 2, pick 5, which I was surprised it was there that late. Yeah, so hooray for whites. I guess in pack one, there was not a lot of good white open, so I hoovered up a good bunch of it. For removal, we've got Revoke Existence, Retraction Helix, and Two Voyages Ends just hoses lots of your opponent's hard work, and two Excoriates, which I think they're fine. Yeah, as far as heroic triggers, we've got the Chosen by Heliod. As far as Enlightenment, the Retraction Helix, and that was enough. That was Observant. I'll see you again. Yeah, so that was. There were one or two times I gave a Hoplite the Bestowed Celestial Archon. So yeah, 7/7 flyer. That's pretty dang good. Kiora came out in 2 games, both of them in my last round. In one game, my opponent, this was game 2, I ended up flooding hard, and my opponent was just able to kill it. Game 3 was a much, much more enjoyable situation. And I took a photo or two. I took a little footage of that so I can show you guys what the board state looked like at the end of the tournament for me. Some sideboard superstars. It's important to talk about sideboard stuff, so some things I drafted. Pillar of War against very aggressive decks. It's a good use of mana, and occasionally, yeah, my opponent, when I beat him in round 15, yeah, I played Archon at the 5-drop, and when I played the Pillar of War, he was like, oh crap, if he plays Archon on that, it's swinging him for a lot. Guardians of Maletis, also just the 0/6 Wall of Doom. Vanquish the Foul. This came in against green decks, and green decks just generally have ginormous guys, so I love this card there. Traveling Philosopher, aka Blank Beep, Artist in History of the World Part 1. So I've got one in the main deck and one here in the board. And against white decks, Glare of Heresy. Pretty relevant. Didn't want to play with Fate Foretold. I know that there were a bunch of heroic triggers in the deck. I had enough. I felt like this was a little bit redundant. Thassa's Bounty, too slow. Griffin Dreamfinder, I didn't have enough enchantments in the deck. Setessan Battle Priest, I just think it's horrible. Yoked Ox, likewise. I mean, I'd rather have the Guardians of Maletis. It doesn't come out as fast, but Guardians just block so much more. And as far as Radiance, I already talked about that. Some cards I hated. There was like a 9th or 10th pick for Freakus Cure, which is way too late, but that just tells you that no one was drafting black at my table. Pinnacle of Rage. It costs 6. That shies people off. I had a couple pretensions of possibly running green as a third color, so I took an early Staunch-Hearted Warrior in pack 2, but I decided no, I'm just going to stick with Kiora. Likewise, I also took a Courser around pack 2, pick 6, and Artisan Sorrow was a bit later in pack 2. So the last 3 rounds, I go on a tear. I lose 1 game out of 3 matches, and I'm really happy about that, because the last round was silly. So I 3-0'd the last draft and finished in 79th place. I had finally won money. Last time I think I won money was in Yokohama 2006. Of course, that's not counting other events such as pre-releases or just regular tournaments with cash prizes or store credit. But yeah, this was a GP money finish. I didn't get any pro points, and you know what? I'm not really focused on making it to the Pro Tour right now, so I don't care. But it was a redemption for me, a sense that I could actually play long tournaments and maintain my focus for most of it, because at the end of day 1, knowing that sealed deck, I had insight. I have foresight. I could see what was going to happen 2 or 3 turns down the road for the most part. And that really helped. I had lots of energy, I was alert, I was physically healthy, and these things are an issue. Now, I was lucky in that I didn't have to travel for the GP. So I was able to sleep in my own bed. I was in my own comfort zone. When you go to a new place, that concern, that awareness that you're not in your normal setting, that can be a distractor. That can deter your performance. So being on the home turf, yeah, that probably gave me an advantage. And hey, I'll admit it. So, anyhow, it was a chance for me to meet some new people. I had a good time. I picked up a bunch of cards I wanted. It was fun. And it restored my faith in myself as a limited Magic player, and that I actually am able to compete at almost the highest level. Alright, guys, thanks for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed this report. And if you liked it, hit that like button. And if you haven't seen my other videos, check out that subscribe button. And why not go back and check my other videos, because you'll get to see my set retrospectives. That's my specialty. Lots of people do tournament reports, writing, not really video, but yeah. My specialty these days is doing history, looking at old sets and seeing how they work, why they work, what you can get from them that works today in casual and fun formats, and maybe some competitive, and things for your fun cubes and kitchen table stuff. So yeah, check those out. And thanks again for watching. This is Eli Kaplan for Ancestral Recall, signing off. Good games, and good luck.